Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Adam Smith of Washington. He is the ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congressman Smith, thank you so much for being here. I just want to remind you and our audience of what Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said about why this war was necessary. So take a listen.
The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser focused. Destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and they will never have nuclear weapons.
Are those good enough reasons to go to war with Iran?
Well, they're not legal reasons to go to war with Iran without congressional approval. There is no imminent threat in any of that. So this is clearly a war of choice, and that violates international law, international laws that we've signed on to, but it also violates the Constitution. I mean, we've had conflicts before where presidents have argued that it wasn't a war, that somehow it didn't meet the definition in the Constitution. There's no argument this time. This is a war. This is a direct attack on a foreign nation. This should legally require congressional approval. Now, none of that gets into the wisdom of doing this, but from a constitutional and legal standpoint, it's unconstitutional and illegal. And those reasons that Secretary Hegseth put out there don't meet the test of any sort of imminent threat to the United States.
So what are you and Congress in general going to do about it? Because clearly we're in this now. We are in a war. Both Hegseth and President Trump both called it a war.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's both simple and frustrating. What Congress should do is what we proposed to do, several months ago now. We had a vote on a war powers resolution, which would have required the president to get congressional approval before launching this war. We took that vote twice, actually. I voted for both of those resolutions. Excuse me. They did not pass because the overwhelming majority of Republicans in Congress gave President Trump a rubber stamp. So we're going to be back at it this week. We're going to put the war powers resolution back up there. And I want to make sure that your viewers understand this is not necessarily a vote on whether or not to go to war with Iran. If you think it was a good idea as a member of Congress, you can certainly vote for it. But what this resolution says is you have to go on record. The president can't just do this on his own. The resolution says you have to get approval from Congress, and then we can have the vote on whether or not to approve it. But from a legal standpoint, and also just from a political standpoint, we members of Congress are representative of our constituents. If you think this is a good idea, I don't, but if you think it is, you ought to go on record as an elected representative of the people and vote to show people that you do think it's a good idea.
The American people also deserve to understand why we're in this, as we have already seen lives lost, innocent lives lost there, and American lives lost, service members who have been killed. I do want to ask you about something else Secretary Hegseth said. He made this claim about the situation in Iran after the strikes and the killing of the supreme leader. Take a listen.
This is not a so-called regime change war, but the regime sure did change, and the world is better off for it. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it.
So he says the regime has changed. Certainly, he is alluding to the fact that they have taken out so many high-level members of the Iranian regime, including the supreme leader. But do you see that this is clearly regime change now?
Well, that's the interesting thing. And this is one of the many things that the president, Secretary of Defense, nobody in the administration has been clear on in terms of saying, okay, what are we doing here? Are you trying to change the regime? Are you simply trying to, as Secretary Hegseth said earlier, beat down their missiles and their nuclear programs? They've been incredibly vague about this. I mean, reading the tea leaves here, which we shouldn't have to do as policymakers, as a country, I think that what they're saying is they're not hung up on exactly who winds up running Iran when all of this is done. They just want to have used our military force to basically force that new regime to change policies in a direction that's more favorable to us. Basically, the blunt force of our military attacks will force any future regime to change. Now that's a guess at best. First of all, the hardline Iranian regime goes way beyond Khamenei and the people who were killed in the initial hours of this strike. And second of all, the Iranian people are in a lot of different places. Blowing something up in the hope that something better will follow it, it's incredibly risky in terms of the outcome. And then, as you point out, in the meantime, people are dying. The global economy is being disruptive. Governments are being. We see Hezbollah back at war with Israel. I mean, this is a full-scale Middle East war on the hope that when we're done blowing things up, some Iranian government will be better than the one we just deposed.
Congressman Adam Smith putting it plainly. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. John?